So we're going to make our buttonholes. And these are my buttons are the first thing you have to do is measure the button. So my button measures 5/8. So 5/8 of an inch down and away from the edge is where you want to make your first mark. No, from down is 5/8, but across is half of that. So half of that would be, let's say, 3/8. So I'm going to mark it 3/8 and 5/8. And if you use your ruler, you can just do the both at the same time. So 5/8 and 3/8. That's my first mark. That's just this end of the buttonhole. We go that way. So then the buttonhole machine will do that for you. But for those of you that are going to have to mark it, I need you to mark it. My buttonholes are 5/8, but I'm going to allow a little bit extra, and I'm going to go 3/4. And what I'm going to do with these two dots, I don't know if you can even see them, is make a basting stitch. Make it as if it's a buttonhole, like a long square, a long rectangle. Right. So now that's my first button. The other one, the next one that I want to do is the one that comes from the bottom. And we're going to do the same basic measurements. In this case, I'm going to go a little higher just because it's easier to do the buttonhole if we're not on top of this seam, because the seam is bulky. So it's about 3/4 of an inch up, which is the amount of my button. So let's go 3/4 up and 3/8 over. Make our first mark. And the buttonhole is, my buttonhole, I'm going to make it a 3/8 buttonhole. Okay, so now we have the two buttons marked. In order to get the one in the middle, obviously we have to measure between the two buttonholes. So between here and here is 6 inches. So at 3 inches, I'm going to go 3/8 of an inch. And 3/4 over. Now, it's my 3/4 because I'm just going a little bit larger than my button is so that I can get the button in the buttonhole. But you make the decision when you determine what the size of your button is. Measure the button, and that's what you're going to go with. Like this 3/8 is half the button width, and that's why I use that from this edge. And then the buttonhole itself, I'm going to do 3/4. Now my buttonholes are marked. If in fact you want to do the buttonholes, I'm going to stop the recording and I'm going to try to move all of the equipment over to the buttonhole